Review of the Nerf In-Strike Modulus Recon MKII. This is a spring action blaster that is very similar to the Nerf Retaliator. Let's get into the review. Included is the blaster itself, the stock, which comes attached, the barrel extension, the 6-round magazine, the instructions, and a few darts. Now to the externals in a bit more detail. This barrel extension is included. It's not going to help you shoot more accurately, but it does look pretty cool, and on the bottom here is an In-Strike tactical rail. And of course that attaches just like all other barrel attachments in the Nerf In-Strike line. Up top is of course a tack rail. This whole orange unit is the priming handle, so when you pull back, that's how you prime it. You push forward and then you can fire once. Down here is a tactical rail, which is pretty cool. It is on the right-hand side, but not over here. No big deal. Still definitely better than the Retaliator's lack of side rails at all. Under here is the mag well. Pull the priming handle back and hit the mag release on the right side or the left-hand side, and that'll slide right out. It comes with a 6-round In-Strike magazine. I did notice something peculiar with the mag well, but I'll go over that in my opinion. Moving back to the grip, it does feel nice and comfortable. The general grip portion is very similar to that of any other In-Strike blaster right now, but this hand grip is sort of new. No real complaints on that. I have a really large hand, so it fits me a little differently than most people. And of course, a lanyard or sling mount under here, and then the trigger. The trigger is a little bit thinner than a lot of other In-Strike triggers, so it doesn't feel uncomfortable. That's too strong a word for it, but it doesn't feel as comfortable as other triggers. It's not like you're pulling back a 15-pound trigger pull. It's a pretty light trigger pull, so it's not a huge deal, but it's worth noting. Then moving up here is the stock. This stock attachment point is compatible with other In-Strike attachment stocks, so you can put on whatever you like. This one is included with the MKII Recon. What you see is what you get. It doesn't collapse or anything. It's extremely short. It is very similar in length to the Retaliator stock. This is a MKII Recon, so it's sort of a replacement for the Retaliator, so that makes sense, but it's a little unusable unless, I mean, even if you're a hobbit, that's too small for most people. At that point, you're better off just using it as a pistol instead of trying to do this, but whatever. Getting to the operation of the blaster, if you've used a Recon or a Retaliator, it works the same way. Pull back the priming handle to take out the magazine, you load the magazine, put it in, and you push it forward, you get one shot. And to fire again, you do that. This blaster does not have slam fire, so if you try it, it'll lock up. It doesn't work. It's a single shot blaster only. Ammo. Thank you. The firing performance is what you should expect from the current Nerf line. It shoots about 70 feet per second, a little bit under, but of course 0 to 5 feet per second off the 70 FPS norm is not something worth noting. The performance in velocity and accuracy is what you should expect from any other Nerf gun right now. I have not had any malfunctions when firing this blaster. There's a little unjamming button right here, so if you lock up the blaster, this will unlock it, but I didn't actually have a chance to use it, so I can't really review it because I didn't jam the blaster. I tried to intentionally jam it, but couldn't in the way that this thing is supposed to de-jam. So it's good that it didn't jam, but I'm really curious to see that work, so I'm gonna try some more. But no mechanical malfunctions or anything to complain about. The performance is on par with other Nerf Elite guns, so now getting to my opinion. Pros of this blaster, I like this attachment point. I like the option of the new stock. I don't personally like this stock. I think it's too short, but the alternative to that was most likely them putting on the Retaliator stock, and then people would have complained that, oh, it's not original. So I'd rather have something original that's just as bad than having two bad things. But that's just my opinion, but I do definitely like this little front attachment point. The only gripes I have about this blaster are the thinner trigger. I'm not really sure why they did that. I don't really prefer that. It's not a huge deal, but if you fire one, you should feel it on your index finger. It just feels different. And something that's a major drawback is the incompatibility of the mag well. When I buy a new blaster, I try to shoot it about 200 to 300 times. It's much easier to do that with the larger magazines like an 18-round straight mag, but this does not fit into the blaster. If you can see the banana mag here and the 18-round stick mag right here, they have these little bumps, and these little bumps prevent it from working with the Recon MKII. That little bump strikes the magazine well, and it will not allow the magazine to seat into the blaster, which is a pretty big disappointment. If I was trying to use an old generation magazine with a new generation blaster, I could say, okay, it's outdated, it's no longer going to work, that's fine. But on the Recon MKII box here, it has the banana mag featured on the Modulus accessory system. This banana mag is not compatible with the Recon MKII, compared to a Retaliator, which accepts it, and it works just fine. That magazine incompatibility is, in my opinion, the biggest drawback to this blaster. I think this is a cooler version of the Retaliator, mostly because of this side rail, because I like to have cool rails for like flashlights and silly crap that I don't use. But it looks sweet, and that's what it's all about, of course. I do like the attachment, I like the color scheme. I think this hand grip, while it's not super comfortable, it looks really cool. It's just a big bummer that it doesn't take all the mags. If you only want to use the 6-round mag, the 12-round mag, and only the ones without the little bump on them, this blaster is great. If you're you're looking between this and the Retaliator, it comes down to personal opinion. They perform the same way. I personally think this one looks cooler though. Unfortunately, I use pretty much only 18 round straight mag, so I won't be able to use this without modification. The modification again isn't a big deal, but it's mostly the principle of not doing what the box suggests, which is using the banana mag and all the other in-strike mags. Kind of a bummer. So mixed opinion. Again, I didn't have any mechanical malfunctions or anything to really complain about objectively. My only biggest complaint there is the magazine stuff. It's also kind of awkward that this is in the Modulus line, but they gave it a Recon Mark II name. So now when we refer to the Modulus, where it's like saying, oh, hey, hand me that in-strike. Like, what? Now I'm just rambling though. So that is my video review of the Recon Mark II in the Modulus line. Hopefully I gave you all the information you need to decide whether or not you'd like to purchase it. I'll put a buy link in the description box below if you'd like to buy it. Otherwise, I'm Frank, that's the review. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay tactical.